I think that the biggest commentary one can make about this season would be Moffat! And then the biggest commentary someone could make about my series Discovering Doctor Who would be, well, the episode's finally out. Hello everyone and welcome to the Season 5/Series 5 recap of Discovering Doctor Who. Yes, we have completed Matt Smith's first season plus an episode since I guess A Christmas Carol was technically the 6th season. I don't know, all this numbering is really confusing for me. But anyway, you might notice that I'm not holding something in my hands, my cell phone, which I usually read my notes off of, so this episode is going to be a little bit scary because I'm going completely off the cuff because for some reason the application I normally keep my notes on is not working. So yeah, this is going to be going completely off of memory. So I'll do the best job I can. It might be a little bit shorter than the usual season recap, which is probably a good thing in the end. But overall, my feelings about this season. Now, as you all know, especially if you saw the episode, I didn't know what to think about Matt Smith, especially for those first 2 episodes. Now, I know that's pretty common, especially for a lot of people that love David Tennant, me being one of them. But, I don't know, there was just something that worked, and yet something very off about his portrayal for me at first. Now, I'm sure if I go back and watch those episodes again, now that I've finished this season, I would probably have a completely different appreciation for them, or rather, I would actually appreciate them. Still, one of the scenes that still just annoys me, and I'm sure it may be one of those that my opinion would change after I watch the episode again, but the whole him trying out different foods with young Amelia there, that scene just felt so weird and stupid and silly, and I know that's the point, and I know so many people find it funny, and maybe I will someday, but still, that's probably the one, like, annoyance that stands out the most to me. Now, some of you all likely know that I made some commentary on a few episodes, how certain aspects felt a bit, as masochistic the right way, not masochistic, I can't think of the right word basically, but basically, not anti-women, but very kind of talking down to women. It just felt very awkward for me to watch at times. But overall, as a whole, I honestly do feel like this season was good. It was very different, very different. That's probably the biggest commentary I can say about this, other than, the little comment I said at the beginning. It's definitely very different, and it took me some getting used to, but I finally came around to it, and I really did enjoy Season 5. I'm sure there's going to be more changes to go along. I've heard some worrisome things that Season 5 is like the best of, well, actually I heard Season 8's really good too, but basically compared to Season 6 and 7, Season 5 is by far the best, and it was really, really good. But that really worries me as far as the outlook goes for Season 6 and 7. But moving on, I was trying to think about my favorite episodes for this season, and I did write down a few, but just to keep things succinct, I'm sure you all have a good idea of what I'm going to say is my favorite episode of the season. So I'll give you time to guess. 5, 4, 3. Vincent and the Doctor. Yeah, not Victor and the Doctor. Yeah, I'm so sorry I called him Victor on one of the previous episodes. That was just weird. But Vincent and the Doctor. My God, what a gorgeous, amazingly written, and just well done episode. I'm pretty sure, I think that was an episode that, no, I did have some negative things to say about it. With A Christmas Carol being obviously the most positive, but I guess I'll recap that in season 6 or whatever. But yeah, Vincent and the Doctor, just an amazing, amazing episode. And that end scene, those last 5 minutes, oh, just poetry, visual poetry the entire time. Now, some could say that they were kind of laying on a bit thick, and that could be argued, but for me, it was just so good. So absolutely good. Now, when it comes to the music, off the top of my head, I honestly cannot remember the names of the songs, but this season really did have a lot of really good songs. And the one that obviously is going to stand out most to me is that ending song from Vincent and the Doctor. I think the band's name is Athlete. Maybe the song's name is Chances? Or Chances or Changes? I think it's Chances. And I know that, especially some of you all, that song bugs you because of how out of place it feels. And it really does feel out of place to me too, in comparison to what I've seen of this show as a whole. But it really did, again for me, just feel perfect for that moment. The music just matched everything so perfectly. I can't think of a better song because, they could have done some dramatic, the usual Doctor Who music, but something about that song just felt so right. And yeah, it's a trope from other TV shows that gets overdone quite a bit. One of the best examples being Scrubs, which I love that show, but they really did use the songs for very strong effect to kind of rub it in your face a little bit. But yeah, I'd say that is the song of the season for me, at least right off the top of my head with no notes. As far as the worst episode goes, I honestly can't. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check and see what the episode's name is. Victory of the Daleks. I knew it was something Daleks. I just couldn't remember the name. And that's going to look really weird with probably some of the jump cuts or fade in and out, whatever. But yeah, Victory of the Daleks. I didn't have a lot of major issues with the episode as a whole. I found it pretty enjoyable. I just sonicked myself. I found it pretty enjoyable overall, and I didn't have a major issue with the redesign of the Daleks, but it did feel like it fell a little bit flat, especially as the season went on, and especially at the end of the season when, we see one Dalek, maybe two, we see a couple of Daleks, but there's really nothing about them. I wish that, even though fans didn't particularly care for the new Daleks, I wish that, Moffat and the team had just kind of stuck to their guns and try to make them as badass as possible, because just kind of backing out and pushing them to the side. It's like it makes this huge dramatic moment, the reemergence of the pure Daleks. Just seem really, like I said, it just fell flat. Not a bad episode, I would say, but one I probably won't be revisiting, unfortunately. Now, as far as that goes, again, all of you, especially since I can't remember my notes, let me know what, your favorite, least favorite episodes of the season were, and especially your favorite music. I'm sorry I don't have a top 10 going, but, with trying to rush this and then the application not working, it's just kind of a mess. Let's see, moving on from there. Oh, I was informed of the 2 minisodes that, come before season 6, as well as the prequel short that takes place just before the first episode of season 6. And I did watch all 3 of them, or 2 of them, I guess, if you count the first 2 as one, which I guess they technically are. But anyway, the first 2 minisodes, Space and Time, There definitely wasn't any plot going on there. I could definitely tell it was something they did for fun. They did it for charity. I think it was, what was it, the Red Nose Foundation or Red Nose Event? Something like that. But yeah, it was fun. It was silly, and overall I can't really fault it for that. Where the story was lacking, they had some fun with the whole space and time logic. Definitely pulled I think it's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, or is it Bill and Ted's Bogus? Anyway, they definitely pulled a big Bill and Ted moment there throughout the entire second episode, which was a lot of fun. And then the end of the end of Space, the first minisode, when the TARDIS appears inside of the TARDIS. I found that really interesting. So yeah, the two as a whole, while inconsequential, were pretty enjoyable overall. Now, I can definitely see these episodes pushing some buttons, especially for some people, because it very much objectifies Amy. But I don't know, I found it kind of, for me, I found it to be all in fun. I thought it was kind of funny and enjoyable the way they were just kind of playing off of that. But if someone does find that offensive, I don't fault them at all, because it definitely was some objectification. I think that was the word I was trying to think of earlier, was objectification. Yeah. But, as a whole, I enjoyed the two minisodes, but I can understand if some people might not like it. Now, as for the minisode / prequel to Season 6, Episode 1 of Season 6, my cat loves making noise. That was creepy. Well, first of all, we have Richard Nixon, someone doing a very good voice impersonation of Richard Nixon. We only get to see part of his face, so I don't know how it looks visually exactly, but voice-wise, the person was doing a great job. And interesting to see that Doctor Who's kind of making another run at the States to begin season. That's really interesting that they're going to the United States to start this season, which I wasn't expecting at all. But the little girl's voice, at first it sounds sweet, but then it kind of gets a little bit creepy as the minisode goes along, it was a short span of time. It was only like a minute and a half long, I think. But in that short amount of time that she's talking, it goes from this little sweet, very confused and scared voice to almost, I don't even know how to put it. It's like the voice started to sound a little bit menacing, or maybe it was just like, the voice was getting angry. It's hard to say. But all that leading up to that final moment where, after the girl is warning Nixon that there's a monster behind him, and then all of a sudden we see just this. It reminded me of sort of your stereotypical alien, like almost the aliens from South Park. This I think it was in a business suit, maybe, or it was wearing black, and then a dark gray head with black eyes. And I mean, it gave me chills, because I was expecting like a Dalek to be behind him. I was expecting something, but whatever this thing is, I haven't seen it before, to the best of my knowledge, unless maybe it's an old monster. And it's definitely not a Cyberman, because the body didn't look like that at all, unless it's maybe an upgrade of the Cyberman. I don't know, but I guess I'll find out in the first 2 episodes of Season 1, which is a 2-parter. Not only are they going to America, but it's a 2-parter. Just craziness all around. Moffat! Sonic again. But yeah, everyone, I apologize for how dysfunctional this Season 5 recap is, and how off the cuff is. I'm kind of out of practice with that whole deal. But I do hope you enjoyed the season recap, and I hope you enjoyed my run through Season 5. I'm really looking forward to getting into Season 6, which, especially after that little preview episode that I watched before recording this. And I'm going to do my best to have the 2-parter, or the next episode, Discovering Doctor Who, out on, I would say Thursday, but I honestly think that's a little bit, I don't think that's really possible at this point, so I'm going to say Friday. Friday is my goal date for getting the next Discovering Doctor Who up. I would say Thursday, but I wanted to get the next episode of Snacking up, and there's other things I'm needing to be working on. Work is really ramping up right now, so yeah, Friday is the date I'm aiming for. Fingers crossed, and I swear I'll do my best to make sure I meet my deadline, everyone. Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining me for Season 5 of Discovering Doctor Who. If you are interested at all, I have started a new video series that will be bi-weekly on Mondays. You can go right here and go check that out. I'll sonic it in. Yeah, cool effects right there. I need a budget. But, and also, if you want to check out the latest snacking, yeah, go check that out too. Alright, enough stalling. Time to end the episode. Everyone, I will see you on Friday for Season 6 of Discovering Doctor Who. Until then, I'm Papa Ken, and Elonzi!